Ford service, pretty well standard, you know, usually approved coolants in each different session. AC system is normal. This one here, how many have had brake problems out of the Ford Escape? If you haven't encountered them, you will. I mean, there's a big deal going on out there where people are going after Ford. It uses brake by wire. You step on the pedal, you're telling the computer you want to stop it, it uses the ABS to stop it, or the regenerative braking. And the system, if it goes out, the pedal becomes rock hard like a bad brake booster. And people think I have no brakes. Well, if they push hard enough, they will, just like those old cars did when the booster went off. But there's been tons of complaints about this. The second thing is when you open the door or put the key in ignition, the car automatically activates the calipers just to check them. So if you're working on the car and you've got the pads off the caliper and your buddy opens the door, the caliper could apply. So they say disconnect the battery, wait 4 minutes. There's 2 fuses you could take out, but if the battery's disconnected, I think that's enough. But there are procedures to make sure that that system cannot be enabled while you're working on it. Now, this is the first one they mentioned about that, but you're going to see it on lots of vehicles. We're going to brake by wire. I guarantee we are. Oh, that was the other thing on that one was, how about that? There's a battery filter in that. You know, the battery has a blower to blow air across it, and there's a filter in the back now. So now you know the customer can have a cabin filter and a battery filter too. I guarantee the customer doesn't know it's there. Most car guys don't know it's there. I like this picture a lot. I mean, GM is the same thing. You're just following manufacturer specifications. There's nothing new about this. But look at this alternator on steroids. It's got 2 tensioners, doesn't it? And this one here looks to be real strong to me. Because in one direction, of course, we're turning the generator to make voltage. In the other case, the generator's turning the engine to make power. So you got to have 2 tensioners to make sure it stays tight in both directions. And the one that runs the car has got to be real doggone tight when it gets kicked in. So that's kind of interesting the way they do that. This is all fully self-contained compressor. Air conditioning control module is built into it. And look what they do. 300 volt DC to 300 volt AC 3-phase. That's industrial electricity. I don't know why they're doing that, but they have some good reason for it. And it's got the orange cable because it runs at 201 volts. Variable speed, all controlled by the computer in the module. What's a lot different? Well, like on the old Insight, and the new one I'm not positive about, we have aluminum bodywork. It's real easy to dent it. The guy gets up and he falls against the car, now he's dented the fender on it. They can't stand a lot of heat. Don't exceed 140 degrees, and that goes across the board. None of these battery packs like heat. So they have a whole strategy for keeping those things cool. And engine work, I mean, the big stuff, we can still do that. Now, if you get an inverter that goes out, you know, that's a little different. I think I'd find one somewhere. But as far as working on the engine, it's the same old engine we've always had. Valves, pistons, engine. List of acronyms here. These are some of the, you know, and these are subject to change. You know, look at this one. Late intake valve closing. Atkinson cycle, right? I mean, it's the same thing. They close the intake valve late. Some of these, you know, are normal. Some of them are kind of new. Here's the BAS, the belted alternator starter, body control. So there's some new ones in there. And just like everything else we always had, they are subject to change. But we thought we'd put some of them up here so that you could see the different ones. You know, when we went from points to electronic ignition, guys didn't want to mess that electronic stuff. That's silly. And then we went from carburetors to fuel injection. Then we want to work on the fuel injection. So, I mean, we got to grow. The only thing that's constant is change. And boy, cars do a lot of change, don't they? Well, I appreciate you guys coming. Have fun at the trade show. Thank you for being here.